Chen was cleaning the bunny's girl's face, and as he was doing so, he wondered who had committed this devious, terrible attack. The girl, or rabbit, as we call her, was still in pain. Chen sobbed and closed his eyes. His tears dropped on the little girl's hand while he was crying, and her hand healed instantaneously. When she opened her eyes, she noticed Chen crying. She wondered if he was sad because of her. She remembered what Xiao Bai said to her as he grinned and stated, "Master pretended to be immortal in order to experience mortal joy and sorrow." He instructed her to pose as a mistreated child in order for her master to feel pity. In such case, master might be willing to accept her. She clenched her hand, wondering how her master could not notice she was acting. And she believed Chen was training his Dao mind with her. She chided herself, stating that even if my acting abilities were at their pinnacle, she couldn't even comfort master. She closed her eyes and fell asleep, and her final thought was, "I'm still too young." Chen turned around, still sobbing. He brushed away his tears, thinking to himself, "It's been a long time since I've cried like this. And seeing her reminds me of my earthly sister," he stated. And Chen was curious about how her sister was doing on Earth. The girl opened her eyes after Chen left and shut the door, having heard what he said. And she cut herself short and questioned herself, "Sister?" And she pondered if the master had a sister on Earth. Where is Earth? She wondered to herself. Chen stood outdoors, sadly glancing at his reflection. And he overheard the girl inquire, "Did you save me?" Chen turned around to face her, and she thanked him. Chen caressed her head, pleased that she was awake, and he inquired as to whether she was still in discomfort. She smiled brightly and informed him there was no pain, then added "Thank you, Moss," before correcting herself and said "brother" instead of master. Chen knelt down to her level, smiled at her, and asked what her name was. And how did she end up by herself here? He questioned. She introduced herself as Xiaoqi and told him sheepishly how she was kidnapped and sold to human traffickers in Qingxi town and how she escaped at night when they weren't looking. She kept lying, telling him she ran and ran until she saw a home on the mountain and went towards it, at which point she fainted. Chen gazed at her sadly and inquired about her family. She reacted by telling him that her mother had died and that she had never seen her father, and she started crying. Chen sympathized with her and lamented the fact that she was also alone in this world. And Xiaoqi was shivering with the desire to cry. Chen had an idea and smiled as he proposed to Xiaoqi that if she didn't have any other relatives who could care for her, she could stay home and be his little sister from now on. Xiaoqi was astonished and wondered if she had succeeded. She eagerly hugged Chen and said, Xiaoqi was overjoyed that she now has a brother. And declared that no one would try to bully her again. If you're wondering, she's referring to Chen Fan's pets and powerful beings who are bullying her. Chen advised her to wait while he went to acquire some fabric to sew her new clothes. Chen began to sew new outfits for her. His powers as a god of embroidery and god of tailoring triggered when he was making her garments, and once again, he didn't realize his power while he was producing the clothes. Xiaoqi was stunned and asked herself, "Do you make clothes like this?" As she was watching Chen's power, Chen smiled and handed her the clothing, instructing her to try them on. And he warned her not to despise his handiwork. The clothing were stunning, they sparkled and were beautifully constructed. When she held the clothing, Xiaoqi was taken aback. And she thought, "Master, even though you're pretending, thank you, for creating the most powerful priceless garments in the world." They were still shining with power after she had put on the clothes and sneakers. She was astounded because she had never seen these shoes before, and Chen informed her that they were known as sneakers. And how to wear it on her feet, and she recognized the garments will always have an aura to her body, which she doesn't have to cultivate. Chen inquired as to whether she liked them. Xiaoqi looked up at him and said, "Yes." She then told him that he was the first person other than her mother to make clothes for her. Chen gazed at her with sadness, thinking that Xiaoqi must have suffered greatly while being trafficked, and how new clothing made her feel this way. Chen made a mental note to be extra friendly to her in the future. Xiao Bai was talking to the horse in the backyard, telling him that farming animals want to be mounted and that he doesn't know his role. As he requested Brother Bai to enlighten him, the horse was sweating bullets. Xiao Bai then smiled arrogantly and said to him, "I'm a pet dog. The golden crow is a funny bird. Zhang Tianqing is a tree. The dragon vine is swings, and the ancient demonic ant is a pest." While saying this, he gradually released his power. The ant heard what Xiao Bai said and became upset, telling him he was not a pest, and he can assist Master in cultivating. Xiao Bai glanced down on the ant, his arrogant smirk remaining on his face, and he replied, saying he was an ant, and how could he possibly assist Master in cultivating the land? The slender horse stared at the ant, who considered it. When he sprinkled the dragon dung around it, he had an epiphany and told Xiao Bai that it was the best fertilizer. While holding that golden ball, he exclaimed, "This land will definitely level up." Xiao Bai believes Master disguised to be immortal. This land is the most important thing. I can't let this ancient demonic ant take credit for it, Xiao Bai reasoned. Xiao Bai carried the golden ball as well, determined not to let the ant take credit for it. The ant then yelled at Xiao Bai, "He has no martial ethics, and you're taking my rightful credit," he stated. Xiao Bai simply raced away, asking him to stop talking and to test who could go faster. The horse attempted to stand, but he was in excruciating pain. But the bird stopped him before he could. As he attacked him and he was unable to get up, the bird advised him that all he needed to do was eat and spit and not worry about anything else. The horse shouted in agony and cursed the old man. While this was going on, Chen and Shaoqi were walking towards them in the backyard. While they were approaching, Xiao Bai and Sha Wu bullied the skinny horse, ordering him to eat first, then crap. The horse merely sobbed, telling them that all he wanted to do was help fertilize the earth. Chen was taken aback when he saw what Xiao Bai and Sha Wu were up to. He firmly warned them not to bully the thin horse. Shaoqi was stunned, but for a different reason. The horse was not a horse, but a dragon. She reminded herself that she needed to get used to these kinds of things at Master's house sooner rather than later. Xiao Bai and Sha Wu turned to face their master, still enraged at the skinny horse. But that was a poor idea, since Chen kicked them both hard and told them to fuck off because they had shit on their tongues. The horse chuckled joyfully because he thought they deserved it. The slender horse asked Shaoqi, "How come another rabbit is eating grass?" In horse language, the horse said. Shaoqi responded, saying she was eating a fantastic supper prepared by Master himself. Chen was surprised once more when he questioned Xiao Bai if it was his idea to use horse manure as fertilizer. Xiao Bai didn't say anything, simply waved his tail and smiled, happy to see his master. Meanwhile, the ant squealed and shouted at Xiao Bai that he came up with the notion of spreading dung, and he's the biggest contributor. It came in front of Chen while angry, and he was stunned and shocked, exclaiming, "Holy crap, what a big ant." And he tried to stomp on it. When the ant noticed this, he exclaimed, "Why?" as he positioned himself to protect himself from the stump, and he was terrified as he realized he was finished. Meanwhile, the unfortunate rabbit pondered what would have occurred if Chen had actually tried to kill her, and Chen became a new person in her imagination. "The rabbits were cute," Crazy Chen said. And Crazy Chen smirked evilly, telling himself that he will create the most delicious spicy rabbit, and she watched herself slain in her own imagination. She knelt down, sobbing, and yelled at Chen to stop, and he did so instantly. And he questioned her, "What's the matter?" with concern in his eyes. Chen cried out to her Shaoqi, but she didn't respond. Instead she shouted, "Thank you for saving my life." Chen approached her again and asked her what was wrong with her. Shaoqi simply stared at him, weeping. And she reasoned in her head that she couldn't admit she was terrified of him because he'd believe she was tearing him apart. So I can see why she's terrified of Chen. After all, Chen intended to eat her in bunny form. Shaoqi was still terrified, but it didn't stop her from responding, telling him that this ant appears to be lost. "Poor thing, its parents must be looking for it as well," Shaoqi said. Chen became serious and contemplated she must miss her family, and he told himself that he would assist her in apprehending and punishing the traffickers harshly. Chen wiped her tears and begged her not to cry since this is now her home and she is now his family. Shaoqi sobbed even more, telling him she would not cry. And now she's her brother. She stated a few days later, Chen and Shaoqi were walking together when Shaoqi began her revenge plan, telling Chen she was frightened of dogs while pointing to Xiao Bai. Hearing this, Xiao Bai was wide-eyed since he didn't understand why she was acting this way. Chen simply smiled, oblivious to Xiao Bai's horrified expression, assuring her not to worry because Xiao Bai is obedient. Shaoqi executed another plan, telling Chen that the small feather is really beautiful, and it would be fun to make a shuttlecock. What it implies is that a shuttlecock is a high-drag projectile that is used in badminton. It is made of feathers or plastic and has an open conical shape. This explanation is for people who didn't know what it was like me. In any case, Sha Wu was wide-eyed as well, and Shaoqi simply smirked evilly. As his feathers were gone, Shaoqi cheerfully told her brother that she was tired and wanted to swing. Chen consented and promised her that he would push her. When Dragon Vine heard this, he, too, was stunned and wide-eyed. The sad bird gazed up into the sky, still grieving, knowing he couldn't fly until his feathers grew back. Chen told Shaoqi that they should leave because it was time for dinner. Shaoqi laughed, but not at Chen, but at the pets and other powerful beings. She then insulted them with an arrogant sneer, telling them they could only be pets, unlike her, who could be Gigi's sister. Xiao Bai became upset as he began to regret training her how to act and allowing Master to take her in at first, and now she is a mess, Xiao Bai exclaimed loudly. When the other beasts, including the skinny horse, heard this, they were enraged. When Xiao Bai realized what he'd done, he began to sweat bullets, and they all released their deadly intent. They all went on him and beat him up, yelling that he was the one who taught her. In the Cloud Sword sect, it is daytime. When the patriarch, the third princess, arrived on Yuhao Island and saw that they had not gone to meet her, she became enraged and hurried to the Cloud Sword sect. The attendants kneel and inform the patriarch Yi Jinghong that the fifth prince of the Juao kingdom wishes to see him. Yi Jinghong was perplexed as to why the fifth prince of Juao kingdom was present. Yi Jinghong murmured to himself that Yuhao Island is located at the crossroads of the Qilin and Juao kingdoms. The two kingdoms frequently clash. Yi Jinghong reasoned to himself that he couldn't possibly be considering annexing Yuhao Island. He went on to say, unsure if this was the right choice. While he was contemplating his next move, an unknown Qi materialized behind him. Another arrogant bastard arrived, and the purple-head person in the back complained loudly about how the patriarch Yi Jinghong is so arrogant, and how dare he delay greeting his prince. Qi Xinghai, the malevolent demon, was represented by the purple-head person. And the fifth prince Liang Kong told Qi Xinghai angrily that he had slaughtered the people of the Juao kingdom and that it was time to explain. Yi Jinghong became serious and inquired as to if they were the ones behind the Hundred Beast sect. Liang Kong smirked and told him that the Hundred Beast sect is a strength that the Juao kingdom has been building for many years, and now that the Cloud Sword sect has destroyed it, they must pay the price, he stated. Qi Xinghai, the evil demon, told the fifth prince that he'd take care of this old man. Liang Kong granted him permission. Qi Xinghai unleashed his strength, and Yi Jinghong stated calmly that it was as expected of one of the top 10 experts of the Juao kingdom, the famed evil demon of the Donghai Sea archipelago, Qi Xinghai. Before Yi Jinghong could respond, someone exclaimed, "Bullshit. Qi Xinghai, the evil demon, come out and engaged in combat with me," Qin Potion said. And then, out of nowhere, the renowned blade appeared from Qi Xinghai's back, and he dodged in surprise, wondering who had struck him. But before Qi Xinghai could fully turn, Qin Potion kicked him in the face and yelled that with a kitchen knife in hand, he could slash the entire planet with blood and lightning. "And you're referring to your grandfather, Qin Potion." Xinghai just spit out blood as he flew back from the strong kick, in excruciating pain. Meanwhile, Yi Jinghong is upset because Qin Potion stole his thunder. Outside the Cloud Sword sect, the third princess Zhao Lingzi was standing in front of the sect, irritated that she had arrived outside the sect and that Yi Jinghong had yet to come out to greet her. The woman who arrived with the third princess informed her that the Cloud Sword sect's uprising appears to be true. Yin Shui, the princess's companion, pleaded with her to let her go up the mountain and clean up the Qilin Kingdom sect. Before Zhao Lingzi, the third princess, could respond, her eyes widened as she noticed something approaching them. And someone yelled, "Watch out!" And both the princess and Yin Shui move as rapidly to the side as they can. They were amazed and shocked to see someone crumple on the ground. When the dust cleared, they saw the wicked demon Qi Xinghai bloodied and injured, with a kitchen knife pointing at him, and its aura is spreading around the area. Both of them were surprised, Zhao Lingzi and Yin Shui, to discover this is a spirit weapon. Yi Jinghong and Qin Potion leapt from the falling Cloud Sword sect compound. "Isn't this Senior Yin and the princess?" Yi Jinghong inquired of Qin Potion. When Qin Potion did not respond, Yi Jinghong asked Zhao Lingzi if she was surprised. Zhao Lingzi closed her eyes and began to consider the hoe and kitchen knife. What kind of decent weaponry is this? She asked herself. Before she could say anything else, Yi Jinghong interrupted, saying, I'm afraid you will be disappointed if you came here for Taoist Huoyun's treasure, said Yi Jinghong. Lingzi Zhao I asked him what he meant. Qin Potion and Yi Jinghong posed, and Qin Potion's weapon's aura was visible, and Yi Jinghong's weapon as well. And Yi Jinghong replied to her, saying that they didn't obtain the wealth of Taoist Huoyun at all, but that they had joined a master as his students, he stated. This weapon was also handed to me by master, he said as he showed her the hoe. Her eyes widened in surprise as she realized it was a present, and she realized that this is a fantastic opportunity. Yi Jinghong cocked an eyebrow, curious about what the princess was up to. And she humbly bowed and said, Patriarch Yi Jinghong, please introduce me to the master. She added, and I will repay you for your kindness today. Meanwhile, a shopkeeper in Qingxi town was advertising his freshly made hot buns. While this was going on, the old man who was afraid of Chen was flying around looking for another host, and he thought to himself that he never anticipated to meet a powerful hermit immortal, and he imagined how he fled terrified of Chen. And if I hadn't gotten away quickly enough, I'm afraid I'd have gone insane, he thought to himself. A child was joyfully eating his luscious apples while he was pondering this. And the old man spotted the kid and looked at him more closely, thinking to himself that he should take advantage of the old host's absence and find a new acceptable host. Otherwise, I won't be able to survive 3 days in this soul state. However, the old guy sensed something and looked around, sensing strong qi nearby. And he saw golden qi, his eyes widened in surprise. He approached to take a closer look and was shocked that a normal mortal had such powerful blood veins. Meanwhile, Zheng was preoccupied with sharpening his knife as there was a golden aura covering his body. The evil ghost grinned evilly and stated that the body would undoubtedly be superior to the one from the past. Oh no, we've got another Orochimaru on our hands. Chen, please save us all. The evil spirit laughed as he soared as fast as he could towards him, excited to take over his body. At that moment, Chen appeared, crying out Da Zhuang and carrying 2 pots, and the elderly man came to a halt, his eyes bulging in horror as he exclaimed, why is it him again? Meanwhile, Da Zhuang was overjoyed to see Chen and smiled brightly, and Chen smiled back as he handed him the 2 pots. The old man yelled and attempted to flee, but he was distracted by something in front of him. Chen went on to say that he wanted to ask him for a favor, and that pots of booze would be his. Da Zhuang stared at the pots, wide-eyed. He praised him, adding that Senior Chen is very nice. Da Zhuang informed him that if he needed anything, he should just ask. Da Zhuang was overjoyed when he told him that Mr. Chen's difficulties were also his problems. The old man didn't notice when he entered an unknown body before he could stop himself. The old man slowly opened his eyes after hearing Chen tell Zheng that a bunch of traffickers had arrived in Qingxi town. And Chen requested assistance in his investigation. Of course, catching them would be ideal, Chen added. Zheng agreed and assured him that he could count on him. Chen thanked him with a smile. Chen and Zheng approached the animal they were staring at. What are you doing? Chen inquired, intrigued. Zheng responded, informing him that he had arrived at the proper time. He told him he was about to kill Da Shan. Chen was taken aback when he told him that Da Shan had been with him for so long. He inquired as to why he wished to murder it. The old man was astounded that the emperor had taken over the alpaca. If anyone is interested, the emperor is the old man. Zheng responded to Chen's question by saying that it wasn't because it was sick. It just seemed unpleasant, so why not kill and eat it to alleviate its suffering? He stated. Chen and Zheng heard a strange animal sounds from it, as he was shrieking. He wasn't shrieking, but he was shouting at them that he wasn't an alpaca. He is a superb medical emperor. Allow me to leave. He said this while panicking a little because he was tied up. Zheng stared at the alpaca with sadness, saying, I'll give you a quick death. As he cried, the alpaca yelled in his peculiar animal voice. He wasn't screaming this time, but he was shouting in horror, I'm going to get killed. Zheng was intrigued when he observed Chen open its eye to gaze at something, and the elderly man was astounded because he had no idea what was going on. Chen employed one of his abilities as the god of veterinary medicine. After a minute or so of checking to see if the alpaca was unwell, he smiled and told Zheng it wasn't. Could I have been wrong? Zheng asked, rubbing the back of his head in embarrassment. Chen smiled and advised him to let it go and that he'd look into it. The old man was overjoyed as he called out, "Thank you, senior, for saving me. Please accept me," he said in an animal language. He also bowed repeatedly. Zheng was taken aback and perplexed. That it is grateful to him for sparing its life. Chen was stunned and astonished, and he wondered if this Da Shan didn't realize it didn't have to be spirited after founding a nation? Chen is implying that the alpaca does not have to be happy after not dying. Zheng grinned and said that he should take it with him. Chen's sweat dropped, and his eyes smiled, informing him that he came down the mountain looking for a beast to ride, and that if he brought it back, it would be useless. Da Shan the alpaca gently bit him, hoping not to damage him but to get him to pay attention to him, and he did so as he gazed at him. He was shocked when he saw Da Shan resolved to be his mount. Senior Chen was told by Da Shan to look at him, and he's a better mount than the average one, he stated proudly. Zheng then advised him that as long as Da Shan grows strong, riding it will be no difficulty. Chen approached it and caressed his head, and Da Shan smiled happily, and Chen pondered about it and observed that it looked robust, but he was still anxious, wondering if mounting an alpaca would be unsteady. Da Shan sat down to allow Chen to climb the alpaca. And Da Shan talked cheerfully, encouraging Chen to hurry up and not to feel sorry for him because he was an alpaca. He spoke in alpaca language. Zheng turned to Chen and said, "You see. Da Shan noticed you needed a ride and sat down." Chen accepted with a smile, telling him he'd keep Da Shan and bring 2 bottles of wine the next time. Da Shan returned 30 minutes later, and Chen was riding it. Chen was just delighted that he achieved a flawless mount since the alpaca's head was held high as he walked so nicely. A girl from afar was taken aback and in wonder when she noticed how lovely and beautiful this alpaca is. The skinny child approached Chen Fan and exclaimed, "Big brother, you're awesome. Your alpaca appears to be large and strong. Can I get on it?" she inquired. This was Fang Ling from the Black Cloud sect. Alpaca looked at her, irritated that she sought to ride him. Da Shan reasoned that only the senior could ride him. Chen was shocked, and he thought the little girl was cute. Da Shan felt even angrier when he learned that his master was going to let her ride him, and he wondered if his master was going to desert him. The little girl was overjoyed when Chen consented to let her ride Da Shan. A Black Cloud sect member approached and insulted Chen, wondering what was so special about this mount. Feng Ling had already climbed the alpaca, and the mystery ladies had told her that there are tens of thousands of amazing mounts to choose from, and she had chosen that. Chen was furious with her, questioning whether warriors believe they are amazing, that they are free to do whatever they want. The haughty lady crossed her arms. She was Lu Suyan of the Black Cloud sect, but despite her beauty, her initial impression was bad, so I'm going to call her the arrogant woman for now until she redeems herself. Anyway, Feng Ling replied cheerfully, informing her that the trip in the sect is fantastic, but not as much fun as this alpaca. Arrogant women agreed with her that alpacas were the most entertaining to play with, and she tossed a jade at Chen. Chen took the jade, and the arrogant woman told him that she wanted to buy the alpaca. This is why I refer to her as the arrogant woman. I mean, she just gave Chen one of the cheapest jades to buy Da Shan, truly the only alpaca that can genuinely carry Chen on its back without tiring like the skinny horse. Chen is never going to give it to her. Chen scrutinized the jade with a bored expression on his face after receiving it, and he realized that this broken jade isn't as good as the one Elder Yi Jinghong gave him. And he believed it was a piece of garbage, and they wanted to acquire Da Shan? Chen spoke up, informing her that the alpaca was his. When the arrogant woman, Lu Suyan, heard this, she narrowed her eyes in rage since she was refused to buy the alpaca with her piece of junk like that. The woman stared at him angrily. Chen laughed and asked, "Are you feeling meek? And how appropriate for her." While Chen smiled on the outside, he was infuriated within, shouting to himself that in this world, power is appreciated, and I must suffer it, he thought. Feng Ling and the haughty woman went with Chen's alpaca while he was still upset. Chen clenched his teeth, furious that they had taken his alpaca. Chen thought to himself, I just got that mount. Meanwhile, a fire technique was growing in the Cloud Sword sect and was ready to be unleashed somewhere. Someone did just that when he used the fire technique in the mountain. That flame shocked Yi Jinghong, but before he could say anything else, the technique impacted the mountain. Yi Jinghong and Yi Qingwu were stunned when they realized the treasure of Taoist Huoyan had been discovered. Yi Jinghong became serious as he added that all the warriors' eyes are on the treasure of Taoist Huoyan, and it appears that there would be a severe battle. Yi Qingwu sighed and looked down at her handkerchief, unsure whether she would be able to fulfill the duty assigned to her by the master. The princess, Zhao Lingzi, assured Yi Jinghong that the younger generation will assist, and Zhao Lingzi begged Yi Jinghong to please inform master of what transpired today. Yi Jinghong responded by saying that there will inevitably be several crises and that she is unsure she can accomplish so much. Zhao Lingzi grinned, thinking Yi Jinghong is overly cautious, and she wondered if the Taoist Huoyan's treasure was only within arm's reach with the assistance of senior. I believe Zhao Lingzi is attempting to exploit Chen for her own gain. She began to cough up blood and cursed as she held her chest in pain. And someone hovering in the air unleashed a tremendous amount of force. Everyone looked up to see who it was, and Zhao Lingzi spoke first, stating how surprising it was for our attack to have had no effect on that person. Yin Shui clutched her weapon. Yi Jinghong answered by telling her that they couldn't call for help from the elders, and that when the seniors arrived, he would question Chen about why they were fighting over such a minor treasure. I am Huang Shao from the Black Cloud sect, he continued, and Huoyan stole my sect's treasure called the Cicada's Wing, and I have come to retrieve it back. This was the sect head of Huang Shao Black Cloud. And Huang Shao threatened them, saying that if they retreated, they would perish. Yin Shui was taken aback when she realized who this person was, and she informed her princess that this person is the Black Cloud sect commander. When Zhao Lingzi heard this, she recognized him and realized he was the master of the Shenwu Continent Center. Yi Jinghong noticed the princess and Yin Shui chatting to each other. Yi Jinghong looked ahead and stared at Huang Shao, informing him that he had been commanded to reclaim the treasure that Taoist Huoyan had left behind, and that he would never retreat. Yi Jinghong was holding his hoe. He explained his teacher to Huang Shao, saying that his master is someone with good fortune and unfathomable strength, and he even aided me. When he informed him that master would be angry even if he is a senior, Yi Jinghong told him that the only way out is death. Huang Shao, have you questioned your master? He inquired as to where he was, to which Huang Shao replied, call him here so I can see him, he stated. Does he think a mere treasure is worth master personally coming here? Yi Jinghong asks. Yi Jinghong informed him that master has his own method of handling things and that this subject is already in his hands, he stated. Huang Shao was stuck in shock, sweating bullets, and terrified of this enigmatic instructor. And he began to look around fast, terrified that this master was observing him. Huang Shao clenched his fist and gritted his teeth, convinced that he had been duped and that this mystery powerful master did not exist. Enraged, he told Yi Jinghong that he had fooled and deceived an old man. He retorted, how dare you fool me? As a giant fire hand came down on Yi Jinghong, he released his technique, the infinite fire palm. Yi Jinghong expelled the hoe's aura. To stop Huang Shao's onslaught, both Yi Jinghong and Qin Potion released their weapons skyward with the assistance of Yi Qingwu and Qin Yin. However, the barrier that was around them collapsed, and all of them were blown away by the attack, and Yi Jinghong coughed up blood as he was gravely injured. That was going on at the time. Feng Ling and the arrogant woman appeared. Lu Suyan, the haughty woman, sensed her master's power and appraised the situation, thinking he must be fighting. Feng Ling realized this as well, but Da Shan was still upset by Chen's abandonment. He began to grieve, believing that his master had abandoned him, and he asked himself, how could I not be worthy of being a mount for him? Qin Potion coughed up blood as he questioned himself. Could master have abandoned us? He believed he doubted it, but his faith in Chen was dwindling rapidly. Yi Jinghong was also losing hope, believing that the mission master assigned to them would be impossible to execute. And both Qin Potion and Yi Jinghong believed they had been abandoned. Da Shan had overheard what they had said about Chen, and he had a feeling that he wanted to confirm. Da Shan approached them and asked if the person they called master was named Chen. When Yi Qingwu, Yi Jinghong, and the others noticed the alpaca speaking, they were all stunned and perplexed as to how an alpaca could speak. Feng Ling was astounded and startled that the giant sheep could speak. Even the arrogant woman was stunned and amazed when Feng Ling said this, but Da Shan didn't care because he was focused on Yi Qingwu and the others. Yi Qingwu said, Yes, he is our master, she then inquired as to why he inquired. Huang Xiao was still hanging in the air, and they were continued fooling around, said Huang Xiao. What she saw next widened Yi Qingwu's eyes. The Black Cloud sect leader was hailed by the small girl riding Da Shan. Da Shan's eyes widened in rage as he witnessed this. He grinned and mumbled after a minute or two, "I understand." After stating this, he unleashed more power than the leader of the Black Cloud sect. And Feng Ling screamed, and the arrogant woman swiftly pulled her away before she could be hurt. As he shouted, his aura changed to green, and his eyes blazed crimson. As he exclaimed, "I see. Da Shan released a technique, so that's the case," he stated. Qin Yin's jaw fell in surprise when she heard that they didn't complete the task, and she wondered if this guy was sent by Master to end it. Everyone else was as surprised as they were. Yi Qingwu sobbed, believing that their master had abandoned them and that Alpaca was about to murder them. However, the alpaca did not charge at them. Instead, it went for the Black Cloud sect's leader, whose aura was blazing. Yi Qingwu was taken aback and perplexed. Da Shan screamed angrily at him, questioning how a mere sect master could not respect his master. Huang Xiao was taken aback since he didn't have time to dodge. Huang Xiao was shocked when he discovered who he was, Emperor Wu. He inquired. Da Shan's strike was deflected by Huang Xiao's technique. Emperor Wu smashed into Huang Xiao's technique, causing a massive shockwave. The location of Huang Xiao and Emperor Wu exploded. The third princess, Zhao Lingzi, and Yi Qingwu were taken aback. Da Shan finally unleashed a greater amount of power. Huang Xiao clenched his chest in pain, bleeding and bruised, and glanced at Da Shan, finally comprehending that the master they speak of is true. Yi Qingwu realized it was the backup master who had been dispatched, and she rejoiced that he had not abandoned them. Yi Jinghong cried, and he looked up, saying, "Of course, and they're not anything master would give up." Huang Xiao landed heavily on the ground, and Zhao Lingzi stared back. Lu Suyan was shocked and wondered, could the mortal be a hermit immortal? As she remembered how Chen glanced at the coin boredly. Feng Ling was now sobbing, lamenting her deeds. Feng Ling raced to her grandfather, wailing, to check on him and protect him. Da Shan was preparing his strike to kill her grandfather while she was running towards him. Feng Ling stood in front of her grandfather to protect him and exclaimed, "Sheepy, please spare my master," she stated. Da Shan came to a halt, his eyes widening in surprise, and he asked, "Could master have let this kid ride me because he likes the girl?" He began to speculate, adding, "Or perhaps master wanted me to spare those individuals rather than destroy Feng Ling's master." Feng Ling and Huang Xiao were perplexed as to why Da Shan's massive foot had frozen in place. Something happened, and Emperor Wu cursed, realizing that this beast body couldn't handle his capabilities and would leak. He reasoned. He says this as though he needs to go to the bathroom. Da Shan then jumped away rapidly, landing far away on the earth. Feng Ling was silent looking at him. Da Shan was just staring blankly since he didn't know what to say. He began sweating bullets, convinced that it was all over and that he could no longer be an opponent. But before he could react, Da Shan was stunned to find Feng Ling and her grandfather kneeling on the ground and Huang Xiao praising him for saving his life. Da Shan sighed in relief and told them that he didn't have time to pardon them while he was kneeling. Emperor Wu was relieved because Huang Xiao didn't see it. Else, it would have been the end of him, he thought. Yi Jinghong bowed before Emperor Wu, thanking him for his assistance, and he inquired what he should call him. Emperor Wu introduced himself, informing him his name was Da Shan and that he was the master's mount. He then inquired, "What did master order you to do?" Yi Jinghong responded, saying they are currently completing master's test and rescuing the treasure of the Taoist Huoyan. When Yi Jinghong turned around, he was surprised to see the Taoist Huoyan. Da Shan spoke smoothly, instructing them to swiftly obtain the artifact and return it to master. But fast, he thought to himself. Don't wait for him to respond. I won't be able to depart if he doesn't, Da Shan thought. Lu Suyan approached her master and inquired about his well-being. And as Feng Ling tried to help him get up, Huang Xiao replied that he is okay and that he didn't expect to see someone as powerful as the Great Wu Emperor as a mount, and he can only think how unfathomable their master may be. Huang Xiao was fatigued when he inquired about why she used master's mount. Feng Ling became uneasy as she stammered her response to his query. After a few minutes, Feng Ling informed him what had happened, including how the arrogant woman literally took the master's mount. Huang Xiao shouted at her, 2 hours later, "You damn fool! You dare to take their master's mount." He coughed out blood from yelling so loudly, and he continued to yell, warning her that the Black Cloud sect's 1,000 years of tradition will be destroyed because of her, and the arrogant woman was shocked hearing this. He began yelling, "It's over, it's all over now." Chen, on the other hand, was on his way home. Suddenly, he began to cough. Chen came to a halt as he was breathing heavily, thinking to himself, "Everything in their Shenwu continent is good, but it's unfair for mortals." He protested that I had finally had a mount and it had been stolen from me, he said. Chen gazed ahead a minute later, determined, reminding himself that if he couldn't cultivate, he had to find another way, he remarked. Chen heard something coming from the trees and spotted Da Shan sprinting towards him, shouting in his animal language that he had completed the assignment. Da Shan was overjoyed to see his master again, and Chen was overjoyed to see him as well, praising Da Shan and telling him that he truly is a clever alpaca. When Da Shan spotted Huang Xiao, Lu Suyan the arrogant woman, and Feng Ling approaching them, he sneered at them. Chen was surprised to see them. Feng Ling was guilty, Huang Xiao was sorry, and the arrogant woman Lu Suyan was unhappy and sorry for her actions. Chen appeared cool on the outside, but he was panicked on the inside, questioning himself, how did the lady find him? He wondered if she had come to grab whatever he had left. After a little moment, he realized he had lost the broken piece of jade, and he envisioned Lu Suyan choking him, and he feared he was going to die. Chen pulled Da Shan aside and nervously smiled at them, telling them Da Shan returned on his own and that he didn't steal him. Da Shan simply stared at them with a murderous glare. When Chen glanced at the arrogant woman, Lu Suyan, she quivered in terror, as did Huang Xiao, but he continued to speak as he identified himself, informing him that he was the master of this wicked disciple, and he has come to ask forgiveness. Chen was taken aback when he heard this. While the elderly man appeared depressed on the outside, he was sweating bullets on the inside because he thought the master purposefully included the word steal, believing Chen still had a grudge against them. Chen was perplexed, wondering what he was talking about. Chen looked forward and saw Yi Qingwu approaching him, while Huang Xiao was terrified, believing Chen was about to kill him. When she noticed Chen looking at her, she smiled brightly, and Chen grieved, believing Yi Qingwu was the one who decided to take the lead for him in teaching this tyrant woman Lu Suyan and her lord Huang Xiao. Feng Ling suddenly grabbed his hand, and Chen looked down to see who was holding his hand. And when he observed Feng Ling remarked that they accept their mistakes, she begged him to spare her master and sister. "Pretty please," she said. Lu Suyan and Huang Xiao both screamed in their minds, shouting, "Feng Ling, are you trying to kill us?" Chen talked calmly to them, but in their eyes, Chen had a mad grin on his face and was speaking to them in a gloomy tone, assuring them that now that Da Shan has returned, they can forget all that happened in the past. He then informed them that he had misplaced the jade piece and that it was no longer theirs, he stated gently. They yelled, "Thank you, Senior Chen," and they bowed repeatedly as they rejoiced because Chen had spared their lives. Chen said nothing as he turned around and harshly instructed them to go. "You guys came," Chen stated to Yi Qingwu, but he came to a halt and glanced at the third princess, Zhao Linji, and Yin Shui. He asked her whether those two were her pals after glancing at them. Yi Qingwu responded, saying, "Yes, they are." Yi Qingwu became concerned when she realized that they had brought people here. She became even more concerned since she didn't know if her lord would become enraged. The third princess introduced herself, adding, "My name is Zhao Linji, but you can call me Xiao Zi." Yin Shui also introduced herself, adding that her name is Yin Shui, but he can call her Xiao Yin. Chen looked at them and believed those two dressed like wealthy and well-respected individuals, and although Chen was gazing at them, they were still scared he wouldn't accept them. Chen stared at Yi Jinghong and reflected to himself how sad he was compared to Elder Yi, whose family is poor and so Yi Qingwu had to provide for herself by cultivating. Yi Jinghong merely stared at him, unsure what he was thinking. Chen looked at Zhao Lingzi and Yin Shui and suggested that since everyone was friends, Miss Zhao Lingzi and Auntie Yin Shui join them for a supper. Yin Shui embarrassedly stroked her face, and she wondered if she was truly so old. A few minutes later, they were all at Chen's yard, and the powerful aura could be felt. Zhao Lingzi and Yin Shui were taken aback to discover that here was the immortal palace. Yi Jinghong then cleared his throat. Shaoqi joyously came down from her swing brother's back. Yi Qingwu's eyes widened in surprise as he asked, "Isn't this the spiritual rabbit I gave to Senior?" She questioned herself. She wondered how it evolved into a human. Chen cheerfully smiled at Shaoqi and asked if she had behaved well while he was gone. Shaoqi replied with a smile, saying, "Of course I am," she said. Yi Qingwu looked at them and realized she hadn't expected the spiritual rabbit and Senior to already have a brother and sister bond, so she resolved to respect her as well. Chen encouraged them to take a seat, and that he would prepare a wonderful supper for everyone today. Chen looked at Yi Qingwu, blushed slightly, and thought to himself that this was his way of thanking Yi Qingwu for taking the lead. And when Chen gave her that look, she blushed slightly. Yi Qingwu assumed Chen stared at her like that because he already knew they had completed the assignment he assigned. And she assumed he recognized her as a pawn. She then pulled out a Taoist Huoyan and remarked, "Senior Chen, this is..." She suddenly stopped herself, realizing that if she presented the treasure to the senior, it would ruin his masquerade as a mortal. Chen simply took it from her and replied, "Yi Qingwu, you're too kind to always bring me a present," he stated kindly. Yi Qingwu was taken aback when he heard this. After a minute or two, Yi Qingwu just agreed with him, informing him that this was for the handkerchief he gave him the last time. Chen was astonished that she was talking about the handkerchief he had given the two of them, but Chen realized that only Yi Qingwu had considered returning a gift. Chen had an epiphany. Could it be that she likes me? He wondered, and he flushed, and Yi Qingwu reddened as well. Chen and Yi Qingwu both had googly eyes and were moving in closer to kiss each other, as if there were hearts all around them. Shaoqi, on the other hand, was irritated that her big brother was not paying attention to her. Shaoqi interrupted them as all the hearts around them began to break apart, and she shouted brightly, "Big brother, open it." Chen was startled by the abrupt cry and muttered, "Oh, all right." He began to open the gift, and Yi Qingwu, who was still blushing, glanced away. Shaoqi gazed at her, and she looked at her angry. When Chen opened the gift, he discovered a plastic cloth with an aura surrounding it. He didn't notice because he was so surprised that this planet had plastic. I'm not sure whether to laugh or cry that there is plastic in the world or that plastic is one of the most powerful weapons in the world. Yi Qingwu glanced at it as well, and she was surprised that it was made of plastic because Huang Xiao had mentioned that it was made from the wings of the jade silkworm to make the cloud of cicada wings, and she wondered if this was another name for it. And Chen smiled as he was pleased that he has this item, asking her if he might have more. He believed it was ideal for a greenhouse, and he decided to create one during the off-season, which the Shenwu continent lacked, declaring, "I want to start an agriculture empire in this world." Chen smiled and told Yi Jinghong and Qin Potion that he had something that might require their assistance. Both Yi Jinghong and Qin Potion responded, "Ask away," as they were delighted to hear an order from their lord. Yi Jinghong smirked, assuming the master desired something from the Taoist Huoyan treasure. Qin Potion was beaming as well, wondering if the master had devised a plan. They must adhere to each step and not squander any time. Chen, on the other hand, was contemplative. Chen urged them to assist him in recruiting some personnel. "Recruit 200 people in 1 month," he informed them. "And money isn't an issue," he says, "but individuals must be dependable." Qin Potion and Yi Jinghong were both shocked, thinking Master had finally begun his plan to cultivate the planet. Qin Potion then remarked, "This task of forming an army must be completed properly." Both Qin Potion and Yi Jinghong exclaimed happily, "No problem, leave it to us." Chen was relieved that there would be laborers, and he thought, now that the work is scheduled, my love life will begin. Chen pondered, and as he looked at Yi Qingwu, she blushed. Chen then approached her and asked if she might accompany him for a while, to which Yi Qingwu consented. Yi Qingwu glanced at Chen with affection and admiration as he walked. And Shaoqi was enraged and resentful of Yi Qingwu. Zhao Lingzi, Yin Shui, and Qin Yin stood there silently. Zhao Lingzi and Yin Shui were speechless when they saw Chen. Qin Yin gazed down, dejected. Meanwhile, Chen presented her an enigmatic box. And he handed it to her, saying it was for her. Yi Qingwu stared at the box with interest as he handed it to her. Chen believed that this method of experiencing love was the most secure. And if Yi Qingwu returns the gift the following time, I'm 90% sure she is interested in me, he told himself. And Yi Qingwu believed Master was finally presenting me with a prize, and she began to open the box. Yi Qingwu was startled to find no Taoist pattern, and she reasoned that it could not be from this planet. She then reasoned that the senior's gift must be really remarkable, yet did he offer me an average pendant? She doubted herself. Chen then asked hesitantly if she liked it. She replied, uncomfortably and loudly, that she liked it. She was so nervous that she didn't even notice that she said Chen's name wrong. Yi Qingwu smiled forcefully, informing him that this jewelry was unique, but what did it mean? She inquired. While she was forced smiling on the outside, she was emotionless on the inside, believing Chen was advising her to keep things cool and not hurry for success. Chen flushed and scratched the back of his head, telling her that this was a jade pendant that he carried in his hand and symbolized his desire for martial arts. He went on to say that it's also the most valuable present he has right now. Yi Qingwu was taken aback when he heard this. She stared at the jade pendant and wondered, martial arts? She inquired. She wonders if her teacher is urging her to cultivate attentively. And she thought to herself, with my cultivation, even if I became a pawn to the senior. Yi Qingwu looked downcast, believing she was unworthy of receiving a magical weapon from senior. And she muttered to herself, I'm ashamed. Chen comforted her by touching her head, and she immediately realized as she whispered to herself, it seemed like I couldn't be too extreme in pushing the things I desire, she added. She will never forget the seniors who taught her, she pondered. She then assured Chen that she understood Mr. Chen's message and that she would carry this pendant with her at all times. Yi Qingwu began to wear the pendant, inadvertently posing sexily at him. Chen hastily grabbed his nose as blood poured from it, thinking by her side. Meanwhile, the skinny horse was blissfully munching on his grass. And when he saw Da Shan on his territory, he yelled fiercely, this is my turf. Da Shan just kept eating. However, after about a minute, he responded, informing him that he didn't care who came first or what he could accomplish. He can do it, too, Da replied to him. He told him he was also Master's mount, but he wasn't. As he released his murdering intent, his eyes blazed red. He then asked the slender horse if he needed to explain anything else about his relationship with his master. The skinny horse was sweating bullets and staring at Da Shan in horror. Da Shan mockingly grinned, saying, I flattered the rabbit in the old tree, but you're weak, he stated. The skinny horses hesitantly remarked, brother, I didn't recognize you. I offer this grass as a sign of respect. Da Shan responded, saying, don't worry if I do. The slim horse wept, believing that his body was better suited for mounting, and he resolved to try even harder to improve his relationship with Master. Da Shan's eyes widened in fear as he asked the thin horse why the grass tasted so bad. The slender horse responded, saying that was the grass that Brother Dog and Crow had just cut. He imagined how they cut the grass, and he realized they did it with their mouth, and he became enraged because he was eating someone else's grass, which came from their lips. Then he spit out all the grass in his mouth and exclaimed, nasty. Yi Jinghong told them all that when it comes to raising an army for Master, he will take responsibility for the Chilling country, while Elder Qin will take responsibility for the Juao nation. Hearing this, Qin Poshan nodded, and Yi Jinghong looked at Zhao Lingzi and Yin Shui. Yi Jinghong wanted to say something, but Zhao Lingzi and Yin Shui remembered what they discussed with Chen Fan. Flashback. Yin Shui asked Chen if she may stay and cut the grass and look after the livestock. Chen was astonished to hear this, and he informed her that, while he could only give food and shelter, he could also provide a paycheck, and he asked her if she was sure this was what she wanted. Yin Shui embarrassed and informed him that she didn't mind her awkwardness as long as he didn't mind her clumsiness, she added shyly. Zhao Lingzi spoke up, saying that she could water the bloom, he can also include her. Chen consented with a bright smile, informing them that they could work together, then go back and pack their luggage before returning. End of flashback. Yi Jinghong went on to tell them that they had to obey Master's directions and stay in the yard to accomplish some tasks. Zhao Lingzi and Yin Shui bowed, and they flew away, and Yi Jinghong became serious and spoke sincerely, saying, Yi Qingwu, you know today you made a big mistake. Yi Qingwu was astonished to hear this and asked her father what he meant. Her father indicated that, While she completed the mission assigned to her by the master, she became complacent, which was a terrible mistake. Yi Jinghong continued to persuade her that she had acquired feelings for him as a pawn for master, which was a mistake. Hearing this, Yi Qingwu became depressed. Another major misunderstanding. I can't believe it. Anyway. Yi Jinghong chuckled a little, informing her that she knew she wasn't worthy of master. Yi Qingwu glanced down, puzzled, as she couldn't understand how her father knew, but master didn't know, as he questioned himself. How can master not know? Yi Qingwu sobbed, wondering why he didn't offer her a prize but a pendant. Chen, she reasoned, was merely trying to keep her in check because she couldn't be too wishful thinking. Yi Jinghong became aware of something in the bushes. Huang Xiao appeared from the bushes, and Yi Jinghong cried like a girl, astonished and terrified by Huang Xiao's abrupt arrival. Yi Jinghong then said, "Why hasn't he left yet?" And seeing him here astonished Yi Qingwu as well. Huang Xiao recounted that when master commanded him to move, he squatted at the bottom of the mountain and reflected on his deeds. For some reason, Yi Jinghong began to sweat bullets and responded, assuring Huang Xiao that he was on the correct route. Yi Jinghong lied to him, saying that the master did not kill him because he expected him to honestly reflect on his conduct and be useful. Huang Xiao was speechless, informing him that he knew. The wicked disciple did something wrong, but the master did not kill him, and he assumed Chen would murder him because he wanted to utilize him. And he told him that if master needs anything, he may always order him. Is it just me, or are the people on this planet becoming increasingly insane? Yi Jinghong pointed to his daughter and presented her to him, saying, "This is Yi Qingwu. And master has instructed her to find more of the cloud of cicada wings, which are the dark cloud sect's valuables, and he should help her," he said. Huang Xiao bowed deeply and stated, "I will do my best." Yi Jinghong responded admirably. And Yi Qingwu just wiped her tears away, telling herself it's best to put those wishful thoughts aside and focus on being master's pawn, she thought. Meanwhile, back at Chen's house, Chen applied black ink to his brush. Chen reasoned to himself that enrolling a large number of people would necessitate a large sum of money, and fortunately for him, his calligraphy can sell for a premium price. Xiaoqi was in awe of Chen, believing that Chen could eliminate the stars with a single stroke. She wondered if her master was a star-born descendant. Chen has just finished writing an advertisement. Xiaoqi, on the other hand, noticed that Chen's words were different from what he was supposed to write, and the words were, "Second, power of understanding." Only by comprehending the true meaning of calligraphy can one benefit from their distinct style and a minor accomplishment in calligraphy. Don't be happy with things, don't be sad by yourself, peace will come soon. She closed her eyes. I will your liberty. She continued reading, Third, the union of man and heaven. In order to achieve the unity of man and heaven, one must not lack setting. Even if it is a grand master of a restricted god, there can only be one that can reach this realm in every 1 or 2 lifetimes. Oh, so that's why he's an ignorant fool and not noticing his own power because he's a restricted god. Anyway, Xiaoqi questioned herself, aren't those 2 paragraphs talking about Chen? She opened her eyes in horror, thinking that master was once on the top, looking down on the world, and now he is a mortal, experiencing the mortal world. It appears that Xiaoqi has discovered the truth to some extent. As he finished writing, Chen began to put his brush down. Chen sighed, and Xiaoqi was surprised that Chen believed this writing wasn't good enough. And he groaned heavily again, widening Xiaoqi's eyes. Xiaoqi was still staring at him in disbelief, saying, "Brother, you wrote this very well, and you're still not satisfied." Chen reasoned that with money, he could not only build a greenhouse but also go on a date with Yi Qingwu, and he began to visualize himself on a date and going sightseeing with her. It's been 3 days, and Yi Qingwu hasn't returned a gift, and he shed a tear, thinking he overthought it. Chen's eyes widened in surprise. That even the skinny horse can pull that much. He glances at 100 acres, as he was shocked that everything had been fertilized. When it was going on, the skinny horse shook as he was fatigued, telling himself, I can still eat, I can still pull. But before he could say anything else, he collapsed and fainted. Xiao Bai, Sha Wu, and the demonic ant were all taken aback. Chen grinned sheepishly because his grass had laxatives added to it, and it still didn't work. Chen was perplexed because this made no sense to him. Chen examined it and spoke to himself, but all of his creatures were listening to him as he stated, It appears that the disease is so severe that I can't detect it, and if I slaughter it now, the meat is still salvageable. Chen stated. Chen stated that it is no longer alive. There's nothing I can do, he said. All of his pets were shocked to learn that the skinny horse had died. When she heard what Chen said, Xiaoqi screamed. That's all for now.